This video is heavily inspired by 2 for 2 and Beta Salvation. The melees in B&M are risky weapons to use, and depending on the player, they might be used a lot or not even used at all. But before I go on even more, in this video I'll be taking a look as to what the ups and downs of each melee are, and I will also take a look as to where each melee really comes into play. But with that said, let's get to it. Before I get into the ups and downs of each melee, what are the melees and what do they do? Starting off with the bayonet, it's a free melee that comes attached to the primary weapon of the musket. It deals 25% of an enemy's health, and it has the fastest stab speed in the game. Now onto the saber, it can be unlocked with the price of 250 pounds. It is a secondary weapon, and with the swing rate of half of the stat rate of the bayonet. The knife can be unlocked with the price of 500 pounds. It is a secondary weapon that has the ability to deal a one-shot to an enemy, if not a two-shot to an enemy. It can also stab through an enemy's block, which also leaves you without the ability to block. And last but not least, the Officer's Saber. It can be unlocked with the price of 1,000 pounds, and it is basically just a normal saber with the ability to buff damage of your comrades. And according to the B&M Wiki, the damage buff can be activated after the player reaches 5 kills with a ranged weapon. Dying does not reset the charge bar, as it will save your progress. However, the damage bar progress, will be invisible for unknown reasons. But with the stats out of the way, let's move on to the ups and downs of each melee. Note that I will be describing each melee as if you aren't in a situation where you are actively getting sniped. For the bayonet, the time it actually takes to get a kill with it isn't as fast as it takes for you to get a kill with the knife. And the knife, I think it has the fastest kill time. So if you aren't good at blocking or you don't start attacking the enemy before they can attack back, this could be bad. The knife leaves you without the ability to block, so if you're at half health or just really low on health, using it would be dangerous. And both sabers have the slowest attack speeds of the melees in the game, and the normal saber doesn't have the ability to give damage buffs. Now onto the benefits of each melee. Starting with the bayonet again, it has one of the fastest attack speeds in the game, and because it comes with the bayonet, you also get the ability to block. The knife has the highest damage in the game and also one of the fastest attack speeds in the game. Both sabers have the ability to block, and the Officer's Saber also has the ability to give damage buffs. And if I were to rank each melee, third place would go to the knife, as it has double range, so after a battle with it, you'd probably be at half health if not one shot. Second place would go to the normal saber, as it has the ability to block and its damage is pretty good. And first place would be a tie between the bayonet and the Officer's Saber. This is because I think the bayonet and Officer's Saber kind of balance each other out. If you are in a bit of a 2v1, the bayonet is better, but if you like to blind your teammate, if you like giving buffs to your teammates while still having the ability to defend yourself, the Officer's Saber comes in handy. Now that we have a general idea of how effective each weapon is, where do these melees come into play? Every melee in the game is effective for frontliners, but backliners can get some use out of them. Usually if you're in a situation where you're getting pushed and don't have time to reload, the melees come into play. Typically the musket is used as a frontliner weapon and the bayonet comes attached to the gun, so when you are in a bit of a pickle, just swap to the bayonet. And for the knife, you probably are a rifle frontliner, so I will leave you alone. For backliners, melees can also be used in tense situations or just in a situation where you just need to finish up unfinished business. The saber can be used for rifle backliners and the Officer's Saber can be used for pistol users. The main question of the video is, well, are the melees good? And my answer to that question is, of course. As a pretty helpful backup weapon, melees can keep you and your teammates from getting stabbed to death while reloading and not being able to fight back. They are also good for keeping those pesky musketeers occupied when shooting becomes too much of a hassle for them. But I hope you found this video somewhat interesting, if not enjoyable to watch. Have a good rest of your day, stay safe, and goodbye.